Okay, looks like most folks have been able to sign in, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Matthew Stem. I'm the Deputy Secretary for the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education at PDE, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I appreciate everyone making the time to be with us for some exciting items that we have to share with you. There's two presentations that you're going to hear from. The first one is going to be a presentation around our roadmap for educational leaders. And when the presentation begins, you will get more background and a high-level overview. And then that's going to be followed by one of our team members, Dr. Rosemary Hughes, who is then going to share a little bit more specificity around our first stop on the roadmap, which is around instructional delivery models and the planning guide. So, and that will be followed by a video from Mass Insight, and then we will open it up for Q&A at the end. So with that, we're going to turn it over and we're going to begin our video at this time. Good afternoon and welcome to today's session. My name is Matthew Stem and I'm the Deputy Secretary for the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education at PDE. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you for your leadership during this pandemic. Regardless of how long we've served as educators, none of us has ever navigated a situation like the one in which we're currently serving. There are nearly 2 million students that are counting on us to create the conditions to keep them safe and ensure that they are engaged in quality learning. On behalf of PDE, I appreciate your collective efforts in that regard. Along those lines, we believe that it's the department's responsibility to provide the resources that assist schools in their efforts, particularly with the unique challenges that each school and district currently face. As part of our effort to support the field, our team and partner organizations have created a roadmap for education leaders. The tools on this roadmap have been in development for several months, and the site itself serves as a repository for current and future tools. My goal over the next few minutes is to provide a very high-level overview of the way content is organized on the website and to set the stage for a series of webinars throughout October and November to provide greater detail on each component. Although I'll present them in a linear fashion, it's important to note that any of these resources can be used at any time and in any way based on local needs and priorities. We know that due to the unpredictable context of the pandemic, schools may find themselves having to revisit strategies and plans throughout the year. So even in places where some of these supports may not be needed now, they may find a need later in the school year. The first area I'd like to highlight is the establishment of a team. We can't underscore enough how important it is to engage internal and external stakeholders in planning efforts. More than ever, plans should reflect the input and voices of various individuals to ensure as much cohesion as possible in implementation. The health and safety plan templates, with which most of you are familiar, identify the need for a pandemic coordinator and pandemic team with roles and responsibilities related to safe operations. The school reopening and instructional planning template is a part of our recently launched Future Ready Comprehensive Planning Portal. This is an excellent resource for documenting goals, strategies, action steps, and plans for professional learning. It also allows for monitoring progress in implementation and communicating goals to stakeholder groups. One of the most critical activities over the past several months has been the exploration and selection of instructional delivery models. We fully understand and appreciate the complexities as school entities make difficult decisions based on the spread of COVID in their communities, the availability of local resources, and other dynamics. The Scenario Planning Guide was developed in partnership with Mass Insight and should prove helpful by providing tools to help organize efforts, choose a delivery model, and effectively implement that model. Additionally, we know that districts are also working through staffing implications related to remote and blended learning, as well as some reductions in staff availability related to the pandemic. The Strategic Staffing Guide was developed in partnership with the New Teacher Project and may be useful for exploring different ways to leverage faculty and staff around priority student goals. Another issue that is especially worthy of elevating throughout the school year is the social and emotional wellness of our students and staff. We know that it is not only students, but staff as well that are experiencing the various effects of the events of 2020. And Pennsylvania is one of just a few states to include staff as part of the resources to the field. The Student and Staff Wellness Guide contains a variety of resources that can be considered as part of action planning. They are organized around the 5 elements that you see here: Staff and Student Wellness Communication Plan, supporting staff in a tiered model, supporting students in a tier model, enhancement of social and emotional wellness in a virtual environment, and alignment with supplemental services. We are also pleased to announce a new resource for Pennsylvania's educators and communities to evaluate, reimagine, and strengthen equitable practices in their schools and education communities. The Equitable Practices Virtual Hub is a one-stop shop to access selected and effective resources for educators, families, and communities to consider how to promote equity in their schools. The resources represent best practices, models, and guidance and are aligned to PDE's equity pillars of practice: general equity practices, self-awareness, data practices, family and community engagement, academic equity, and disciplinary equity. Users of the Hub may access each pillar in the context of their roles and functions, for example, school district level, classroom, and individual. Each of the pillars supports a cohesive approach to providing access and opportunity for all students in the Commonwealth. As I mentioned earlier, ensuring access to a quality education while at the same time ensuring the health and well-being of the broader community is of paramount importance. We know that students throughout the Commonwealth are having uneven experiences through the many different instructional models that are being implemented. Part of focusing on effective instruction is determining both the learning gaps that may have grown during the past 7 months, but also acknowledging opportunities for acceleration. The assessment toolkit captures many of the formal and informal approaches that are available to schools and should be considered as part of monitoring the progress of student learning. As a related document, the instruction toolkit presents grade-level content aligned to learning outcomes that, in addition to other valuable resources, can be used as a reference for teachers. Another resource that is currently available under the Effective Instruction section is the Measuring, Reporting, and Improving Attendance in School Year 2020-2021 Guide. This is an area in which PDE continues to receive many questions from the field. Knowing the unique challenges of measuring attendance in remote learning, this document looks at ways to consider both evidence of student access to learning and evidence of student completion of learning when determining attendance status. An area of focus for PDE over the upcoming year around the topic of communication with stakeholders is increasing connectivity for our students. We are well aware that there are students throughout the Commonwealth that lack access to broadband, and this lack of access makes quality remote learning an even greater challenge. While not a replacement for full internet connectivity, we are engaging in a partnership with PBS to both provide standards-aligned programming through PBS affiliates, as well as to use their signal infrastructure to datacast resources into students' homes. This effort will start as a pilot in the weeks ahead in some targeted counties and will then expand throughout the months ahead. Many more details will be provided in the webinar in November, and we appreciate our IU partners who've been assisting with the planning and management of this endeavor. Meaningful professional learning for our school leaders, educators, and staff is essential to providing a coherent and effective educational program for our students. Providing professional learning in a remote environment brings additional unique challenges and considerations. In this part of the roadmap, resources are provided on research-based strategies for remote professional learning, as well as tools to assist in the planning of remote learning events, from identifying priorities through evaluating outcomes. On your screen are the dates of the upcoming webinars where each of these topics will be covered in depth. We're starting today with instructional delivery scenarios and then continuing with the other topics throughout October and November. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Rosemary Hughes, who will take us to our first stop on the roadmap.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary Stem. During this pit stop, we will focus on a toolkit for selecting and implementing instructional delivery models that are best fit for a school entity's local context. This toolkit was created by Mass Insight Education and Research in partnership with the Pennsylvania Department of Education. This planning guide provides a variety of tools to help school entity planning teams organize their work, choose an instructional delivery model, and effectively implement the selected model or models. The aim of this toolkit is to guide school entities through a process of selecting and implementing an instructional delivery model that maximizes in-person learning while protecting the health and safety of students and staff. The resources provided in the guide are highly adaptive and can be tailored to meet each local community's context and needs. As the level of community transmission in a county shifts, this guide will help school entities plan to facilitate high-quality student learning opportunities while protecting the health and safety of all stakeholders throughout the 2020-21 school year. This toolkit does not, and is not intended to, prescribe a specific course of action. Each school entity has unique needs that will require careful work by leaders, staff, families, and students. The best plan for one community may not be the best plan for another. This toolkit provides a set of guiding questions and recommended steps that school entities can take in order to develop plans for delivery of instructional and supportive services to students in the highest quality and safest manner possible. Dr. Rob Jensch from Mass Insight recorded a facilitated walkthrough of the organization, content, and tools in the toolkit. You can use this facilitated walkthrough in your work with school entities.
Hello, good morning or afternoon or evening. I'm glad for the opportunity to provide an overview of a toolkit that we believe can be very useful for Pennsylvania LEAs focused on selecting and implementing an instructional delivery model for this upcoming school year. So I'll take a moment to introduce myself, my organization, and the process that led to this toolkit, and then spend the bulk of this video voicing over what's in the toolkit. So my name's Rob Jensch, and I work with Mass Insight Education and Research. Mass Insight is a national nonprofit organization that supports state and local education agencies and schools. And our mission is to provide leadership in closing achievement and opportunity gaps for underserved students, to drive college and career success. And we do that by focusing on system transformation and student academic success. Currently, we have partnerships on both coasts throughout the Midwest, in Texas, in the Southeast, and in our backyard in New England. We are Boston based, but our folks live across the country and work across the country. So in the course of our work, we've had the opportunity to partner with Pennsylvania and with PDE in particular, as well as a number of districts across the Commonwealth over the last 5 years. And we've done a number of school reviews, district reviews, we've facilitated some strategic planning processes, and we've provided implementation support to school and district leaders along the way. And so for the last several months, all of us at Mass Insight have, as we're sure like many of you, really been spending a lot of our time and energy and resources thinking through and helping our partners across the country think through how to respond to the coronavirus pandemic. And kind of the driving question there, right, is how do we ensure the health and the safety of students, families, staff, the broader communities, while doing everything possible to maximize student learning and growth. And so pursuing the answer to that question has provided us insight into what schools and school systems across the country are doing. So we were really pleased when our partners at Pennsylvania's System for LEA and School Improvement and PDE invited us to work with them to pull what we've learned from our work across the country these last several months into a toolkit that would be available to LEAs across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to use as you ensure the health and safety of your students, families, staff, and broader communities while doing everything possible to ensure student learning and growth. And so this is that toolkit. I'm going to take the next few minutes to walk you through what's in the toolkit and how you might consider using elements of it. So I'm actually going to go directly to the PDE website, and I would encourage you to join me. You can see the navigation here, Pennsylvania Department of Education, schools, safe schools, emergency planning, preliminary school reopening guidance, reopening pre-K-12, roadmap for education leaders, instructional delivery scenarios, and then scenario planning guide. You can also click on the link that was shared along with this video to go directly there. So as we look at what's here, just a few notes. The scenario planning guide provides a variety of resources to help local education agencies and their planning teams organize their work, particularly for this upcoming school year, choose an instructional delivery model that's going to work in your context at this juncture, and then effectively implement that selected model. So the resources provided in the guide are intentionally very adaptable and can be tailored to meet your local community's context and needs. Including as those needs evolve throughout the rest of the summer and the fall. So this is a toolkit that you can come back to over and over again and use the tools in it as conditions change. So just a few notes there. First, local conditions and regulations are going to mean that what's best for one community and local education agency is not necessarily going to be the same across Pennsylvania throughout the next couple of months. You'll notice that everything in here is in Microsoft Suite format, all the downloadable items, so that you can download it and make it your own. They're not PDFs, they're not complicated forms. It's really intended to be something that you can download and make your own. Rename the columns and rows in the spreadsheets, retitle the documents, add, subtract, whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever's going to fit your context. And keep in mind that nothing here is a requirement. These are all meant to be prompts for you and your planning team to work through. And again, the big idea with this toolkit is that it aims to guide local education agencies through the process of selecting and implementing an instructional delivery model for this upcoming 2021 school year that maximizes learning and growth for all students while protecting the health and safety of students, staff, families, and broader communities. So let's dig in here. When you navigate here, you'll notice that the first thing in the middle of the page is this toolkit structure and content. So we understand that this work has already been underway in your LEA, and so intentionally these are recommended elements of a planning process, and you can sort of jump in on this toolkit wherever you are in this process. And you may be following a different process, but still find elements of the toolkit applicable to it. So it's color-coded here. And this process of establishing a team and a planning process, creating and implementing a communication plan that you're going to use throughout the whole process to gather information, to have two-way communication with a variety of stakeholders, but also to make sure that people are informed about decisions, updates, et cetera. the third piece here is around gathering information and forming some operating assumptions that really guide the selection of your instructional delivery model. When we're talking about instructional delivery model, there's really three possibilities here. Students are learning at school, students are learning remotely, or there's a hybrid where some students are learning at school and some are learning remotely, or some permutation thereof, where you've got some days of the week, all students are learning from school, other days all are learning remotely. So there's a variety of hybrid models there. And there's also kind of everybody at school, the pre-COVID days, and everybody remote, which is what happened in most school districts and school systems in spring of this past school year, 1920, and then the hybrid, and the hybrid is really what it looks like is going to depend on local conditions, and so there are a variety of tools in this toolkit to help make that decision. And then once you've made that decision, once you've chosen an instructional delivery model, some considerations in planning to implement that instructional delivery model. And then finally, once you've got the model, monitoring implementation and impact along the way. And as we do expect local health conditions to continue to evolve throughout the fall, you may come back to other steps in the process, reevaluating in light of new data and circumstances. So let's dig in here. Establishing a team and planning process. So if you'll click here, and again, I'd recommend that you follow along by coming to this webpage and seeing what's here as I voice over what's here. And of course, you can pause the video to explore yourself as you go. So establishing a team and planning process. In the section on the left here, it's an overview of what's there and some considerations for the LEA. So, ensuring that everyone is united around the same purpose, clarifying who's going to have final sign off on which types of decisions, setting a date for decision on an instructional delivery model, determining team norms. So some considerations that that you and your teams can take into account as you are in this stage of the process. The suggested action here is really determining an instructional delivery planning team membership and holding an initial meeting. And of course, we know that in so many places this has already happened, and this still may be useful reference if you're looking to strengthen or tweak or really affirm what you're already doing. So we're going to go back now to the main overview here. So we've just left the purple section around establishing a team and planning process, and then we're going to get into creating and implementing a communication plan. Again, a similar structure once you click on this, an overview of kind of some considerations, and then to the right, a suggested action. And for the sections of the toolkit where applicable, there are some downloadable tools. So here's a communication planner. We can hop in there. So in this communication planner, you'll notice some directions for use in the direction tabs, description, customization, and then a sample. And so again, here, a tool that you can adapt for your specific needs. We're suggesting that it might be useful to consider having your stakeholders identified, perhaps your school committee, parents and families, teachers, principals, students, kind of business leaders, media outlets. Who are your key stakeholders? And what are their information needs? What's the frequency? What's the medium by which you'll communicate with them? Who's responsible for managing communications and delivering communications to that particular stakeholder group? And then any notes that you may have. And just having it all laid out can be useful in terms of getting it on the calendar. And so that's a sample, and then a blank planner. Again, you can add additional columns and rows as you see fit. The other communication planning tool in this kit is a status dashboard. Again, highly adaptable. I'm just going to open that here. And again, anytime we've got a spreadsheet, the first tab provides some directions and then a sample here. So this is something that you could copy paste on the top of school committee or school board agendas, something you could embed on your website. And so, you know, area of focus, your work, any recent updates, status, just a way to give a pretty high level update to key stakeholders at various times throughout the process. You'll notice that we've got a couple of different samples of what this could look like depending on the level of detail that the audience needs or that the planning team wants to commit to reporting out on regularly. So a couple of dashboards within that tool. Going back into the main kit, I've had the opportunity to work now with a number of LEAs in Pennsylvania just in July of 2020, and they're finding this element of the toolkit particularly helpful. And so this section includes a baseline set of essential questions for choosing an instructional delivery model and a template that can be used to collect information from a variety of functional areas and an example template that's been completed for illustrative purposes. And again, only for illustrative purposes because we know that you're going to need to adapt this on your own and for your specific circumstances. So there are really three sets of questions here at the outset around where students are learning, how students are learning, and to include in your instructional delivery model considerations. And then there's a more detailed worksheet here. So I'm actually going to start with the example. The worksheet is just a blank version of the example, but I want to show you what it could look like filled in. Again, knowing the content here is intentionally fictional. It's for illustrative purposes only and specifically, but I do think that it provides kind of a helpful way of thinking through what some of the considerations likely are. So, for example, what's your projected classroom capacity? So for example, if CDC and PA guidance recommends 6 feet between students, that'll require 36 square feet per student. If your average classroom size is 600 square feet, then the average middle school or elementary classroom in this district would accommodate 16 students. Using the same formula, the average high school classroom would accommodate 15 students, noting that there are some substantial differences in classroom size within and between buildings. So this LEA decided it would not consider student absences when calculating classroom capacity. In 1920, the average class size was 28 in elementary, 28 in middle and elementary and middle, and 22 in high school. So just aggregating these information points is the first step. What's the projected capacity for each building? So if an elementary school has 12 regular classrooms, a music room, a gym, a cafeteria, and an average capacity given distance requirements of 16, that would mean the overall building capacity is 192 based on projections for every building. LEA capacity would be 30% below the 1920 enrollment. So again, you're building up a picture of what's possible given a number of these decision drivers. So then what's your projected enrollment by grade level? And we talk through, or we don't talk through, we've written up an example here. Projected parent requested remote enrollment, likely gathered through a survey. Projected number of teachers who will only provide remote instruction, projected teacher absence rate, projected limitations of student transportation, projected changes to staff roles and responsibilities, projected time for teacher collaborative planning, projected ability to hire and train new staff, and then projected cost of meeting building health and safety requirements. And again, there's an example for all of these for you to fill out. And then what you'll get to towards the end of the document is a table for organizing those operating assumptions. So we talked through A and B above, right? And so here's kind of putting it into a table. This is sort of what comes before this is what it is, and now this is sort of the so what moment. So if you've got projected classroom capacity of 16 in elementary and middle, 15 in high school, it's down from 28 and 22 respectively. What are the implications? What does that mean? It means that without remote instruction, lower enrollment classrooms will require additional teachers, which means that this LEA might need to consider larger remote classrooms. What does it mean for projected capacity for each building here? So in nearly all buildings, enrollment capacity will need to decrease by approximately 30%. Some notes on that consideration. So this district is realizing, okay, we can only accommodate 70% of last year's student body in buildings. That means that roughly 30% of students need to be remote at any time unless other spaces are utilized. And there are similar capacity reductions across all buildings. So again, the idea here is to take into account a baseline set of decision drivers, aggregate that information, and then process it through dialogue, certainly prompted by this table, to really build up a picture of what's possible in terms of instructional delivery model in light of the current health conditions. And again, those local health conditions and recommendations from PDE may change over the course of the fall. And so we're hoping this is a tool that you can come back to based on the most current information that you have, the operating assumptions that you're working from. And again, I mentioned that in addition to the example, which is filled out, the worksheet version is simply a blank version of that example. So just a clean, fresh one for you to fill out as you see fit. And again, this is a tool that districts have told us has been extremely helpful for them as they land on their instructional delivery model. Of course, the next step is landing on the instructional delivery model. So as you process everything that you've built up through analyzing your operating assumptions, what is your instructional delivery model going to be? And so here's an example. And the idea here, again, is to synthesize and aggregate everything that you've put in the table that we just looked at in the previous section and say, how are students going to receive instruction? And it may be different depending on the grade band. You may need to add columns here. We know of some districts that are thinking about this in terms of 6-12 and K-5. We know that some districts have a different plan for their youngest scholars than they do for their later elementary scholars. So there's a lot of ways to adapt what's here. At the bottom, you'll see some scheduling mock-ups. Again, totally adaptable, but just provides an example of what it could look like depending on what decision you make. And again, here, the worksheet version is what I just showed you, except a blank form so that you can make it your own. And again, that's also all Word, Excel documents, things that you can download and directly edit. So you've got your team, you've got your communication plan, you've got some operating assumptions, you've selected an instructional delivery model. Now it's really time to implement the chosen instructional delivery model. And when you're thinking about how to bring this to life, two things we're providing in terms of tools. One is a critical readiness factors action tracker. So again, it's a spreadsheet. So just like all the spreadsheets that you can download from this toolkit, you'll see directions on the first tab for how to consider using it, and then a sample, and then a blank version. And so here the idea is kind of what's the area that we need to consider. We're noticing that a number of districts are taking this tool and dividing it by functional area. So HR, facilities, transportation, food service. We've got these broken into critical readiness factors, and I'll talk through what those are in a moment. What's the action that needs to be taken? What's the start date, due date, status description? Does it require discussion at the next team meeting? So this becomes really a way to organize the plan to operationalize the chosen instructional delivery model. So what are the critical readiness factors? We're going to pop open this second document here, critical readiness factors, the Word document. And it's a set of questions for each of the factors. So one of the factors is building school calendars and schedules. So some guiding questions as you figure out how to do that, and some suggested steps. So again, completely suggested, recommended, but what we're noticing that a number of districts are doing is they're taking this as a starting place, plugging it into their action plan, and everybody's action plan looks a little different, but here's an example of one again, the one that we just looked at. And they're saying, okay, are we making sure that we're accounting for each of these potential steps in these suggested steps in our action plan? And again, the critical readiness factors cover a number of things. So building LEA and school calendars and schedules. As you go further down, recruiting and hiring teachers and staff. You'll notice here that there are some additional resources linked that provide additional tools. Delivering effective remote instruction and support to students. So some guiding questions for figuring out how to do that. Some suggested steps, which again, you can plug into your action tracker. Identifying student needs and providing required services and supports, providing transportation and food services consistent with health requirements, ensuring student and staff health and safety here, and again, resources as you go that might be useful. So the final step here is monitoring implementation and impact. And we certainly don't think that you need to wait until you've got everything figured out in order to start monitoring what you do have figured out. So again, this is a toolkit that's designed to invite LEAs to jump in anywhere. So as you're thinking about monitoring implementation and impact, you're convening various committees and subcommittees. We've got just a suggested meeting agenda and protocol that we've noticed has been helpful, not only in coronavirus pandemic planning, but also sort of in any kind of strategic planning implementation. So if you'll click right here, it'll pull up this Word document. And so here's, again, a highly adaptable starting place meeting agenda that you can adapt for your purposes. Kind of some suggested pre-work ahead of monitoring implementation and impact meetings, an agenda, a place to capture discussion notes, decisions made, tasks and actions coming out, a parking lot if you're familiar with that meeting structure or protocol, and then items to include in communication to stakeholders. So a generic, highly adaptable agenda that seems to be working pretty well for a number of folks for this purpose. And then in terms of progress monitoring, here we've got another document for your consideration. And this is really a system for organizing how you're going to tackle progress monitoring. So those are the elements of the toolkit, the 6 elements, which are again color coded at the top here, and you can walk through them one by one, following the links here, or you can jump in straight away knowing that there's something specific that you need. So I hope this has been helpful, and we so appreciate all of the work that so many across the state are doing to really ensure that their communities, their students, their families, their staff are safe, while at the same time doing everything possible to maximize student learning and growth. So thank you.
Okay, so with that, while while a couple of us get logged in here, I think what we'd like to do is open it up to some Q&A. Before we do, just to add some additional context, and I think most of you are aware of this, but over the past 6 to 8 weeks, we have seen an increase in districts that are pursuing different instructional models, driven in large part by the COVID transmission in their counties and in their communities, but also driven by resource challenges. We've seen some folks have to shift to remote learning because through the quarantine process, they don't have enough staff to keep buildings open, or other resource challenges. And so at any rate, even at this point in the year, we hope that the resources that you just heard about and the tools, the many tools that are in there for planning are going to be helpful to districts, particularly those right now that still are moving between various models for a variety of reasons. So hopefully, you can share that and support that and utilize that as a benefit to our districts throughout the Commonwealth. And we appreciate Mass Insight's expertise in helping us. And again, I want to commend Dr. Rosemary Hughes for leading those efforts and helping to pull that together as our first stop on the roadmap. So I know we have one question that's in the queue. We'll hit that one first, but then in the meantime, please feel free to include some other questions. So I think the first question we had was, when will the instruction and assessment toolkits be available that I had mentioned? And those are still not up. So thanks for asking the question, because it means you were looking. We appreciate that. So those will be up. Those are complete, and those should be up within the next couple days. So check back tomorrow, but no later than Monday. We anticipate that those are going to be up and be live on the site. There's another question, and so Rosemary, if you're good taking this one, will LEAs be required to utilize these tools and submit any kind of versions of their plans to PDE? And I think you're muted on my end.
Sorry, I unmuted one and not the other. They're not required to utilize these tools or submit any version of the tools that are part of this toolkit. The main goal of this toolkit was to help organize data collection and planning that in the summer seemed to have education leaders stuck. And so the hope was that these tools could help make the unwieldy task feel a little bit more manageable. However, LEAs are required to submit the health and safety plans and the emergency instructional time plans that that PDE has required. And so these tools could be useful in helping organize their thoughts around any updates that might need to be made to those plans based on changing conditions within their community.
Great. Seeing no other questions at this time, unless I'm missing something, then as we close out, again, want to highlight our next session, and somebody can help me. I believe it's next Tuesday, but let's make sure I'm right there. Rosemary, next Tuesday, same time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next Tuesday, same time. And so we encourage you to be back, and we're going to continue these for each stop on the roadmap. And again, ultimately our goal is to make sure that we're providing the resources and supports for schools. And we appreciate everyone, especially our IU partners for leading and supporting our districts in their endeavors. So we look forward to seeing hopefully most of you and maybe more at our next session. So with that, wish you to be safe and well, and thanks for your continued leadership and support out in the field.